Macmillan Audio presents A Mother's Gift, an inspiring collection of This I Believe essays celebrating motherhood. Edited by Jay Allison and Dan Getteman, with a foreword by Leanne Hansen. Read for you by the authors.
Motherhood is a kaleidoscopic subject. Mothers are the butts of jokes and sources of blame for whatever goes wrong in their children's lives. They can be wellsprings of inspiration, guidance, and comfort. Many women spend thousands of dollars to become a mother. Others have motherhood thrust upon them. I'm Leanne Hansen, and I'm one of the latter. My daughter was an unexpected surprise. I had no idea what I was doing when she was born, despite good advice from both books and friends with children. But the most interesting thing that happened just after her birth was that I finally understood and appreciated my own mother. We had been somewhat estranged for many years. She wanted me to settle down, and I wanted to wander. My daughter brought us back together. She will soon be 30, the age I was when I had her. I also had a son 2 years later, so motherhood must have agreed with me. In the years before my mom died, whenever we went to the pharmacist, grocery store, or hairdresser, she often told anyone who would listen, "This is my daughter. She used to be a hippie, but look how well she turned out." I blushed with embarrassment. I also basked in the glow of her pride in me. When I began as host of Weekend Edition on NPR, my mother listened every Sunday. I called her every Monday morning for her review. She kept written notes. Sometimes she'd say, she loved an interview I did. Sometimes she just asked, "What the hell was that?" She was once a guest on Car Talk. Her Buick wasn't running right. The Tappet brothers suggested I buy her a new one. Every Mother's Day on our program, we include our mom's names in the credits. Hearing her name on the air was far better than flowers or a card. When I was asked to write the introduction to this extraordinary collection of essays, I was thrilled. This, I believe, had a home on Weekend Edition for a long time, so it seemed appropriate. It also gave me the chance to write about my mother and consider what motherhood means. As you will discover when you listen to these essays, motherhood has many definitions. Cecile Gilmer writes that mothers need not be blood relatives. They're people who love you when no one else will. Jackie Landry writes about the love that transformed her adopted son. Isabel Allende writes about the excruciating pain of losing a child. And Jake Hubbenden writes about the inner strength of his stepmother. Every essay will touch a nerve and perhaps illuminate those facets of the motherhood kaleidoscope that you have yet to see.
Dr. Benjamin Carson is director of pediatric neurosurgery at Johns Hopkins Children's Center. He grew up in poverty in a single-parent home. His mother had married at age 13 and moved to Detroit with her husband to discover that he had another family. Divorce followed. Carson was able to rise above difficult circumstances, but not without some help and guidance.
The simplest way to say it is this: I believe in my mother. My belief began when I was just a kid. I dreamed of becoming a doctor. My mother was a domestic. Through her work, she observed that successful people spent a lot more time reading than they did watching television. She announced that my brother and I could only watch 2 to 3 pre-selected TV programs during the week. With our free time, we had to read 2 books each from the Detroit Public Library and submit to her written book reports. She would mark them up with check marks and highlights. Years later, we realized her marks were a ruse. My mother was illiterate. She had only received a third-grade education. Although we had no money, between the covers of those books, I could go anywhere, do anything, and be anybody. When I entered high school, I was an A student, but not for long. I wanted the fancy clothes. I wanted to hang out with the guys. I went from being an A student to a B student to a C student. But I didn't care. I was getting the high fives and the low fives and the pats on the back. I was cool. One night, my mother came home from working her multiple jobs.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?